All right. The purpose of my recording today is for us to be clear about a few principles or concepts that have become an issue of discussion and controversy amongst you. Um, there's something called a shift in demand or supply, or a movement in demand or supply. I know that we all know for sure that a movement in demand or supply is caused by a price factor, and a shift in demand or supply is caused by a non price factor. We've had confusion, and I think it's brought about by the fact that when we don't know when we are shifting and when we are moving demand or supply, we don't know which factor, or we are confusing which factor leads to a change in demand or supply, or a change in quantity demanded or supply, which would be a shift or a movement respectively. So this is a simple way. I hope it will help you understand. One thing that we need to know is that we are talking about the price of the said product. And number two, we are talking about the market of the said product or service, or particular product that I mentioned. So when a question is being presented to you, or a statement is being presented to you, ask yourself, number one, which market are we drawing? And if we're talking about the price, the price of what are we talking about? For example, I remember, let me just use one example of one of the questions that we had. Yeah, we have this activity here. I know that a number of you got it. This activity here says, for example, before we actually continue, it says, using relevant diagram for the scenario below, explain the impact on the market of tuna fish. On the market of tuna fish. Yeah. So that means the market we are drawing has already been clarified as the one for tuna fish. Are we together? So then we ask ourselves, what will be the impact, if at all, sorry, what will be the impact, if at all, the price of fish, and in this case, we're talking about the price of tuna fish, is expected to fall in the coming weeks. Is expected to fall in the coming weeks. Remember, the price is not falling now, and the diagram we're drawing is for now. So if the price is expected to fall in the coming weeks, so we ask ourselves the question. Actually, the starting point is to draw the demand curve for tuna fish before anything happens. So if the price of fish is expected to fall in the coming weeks, what will happen to demand? Remember, the price is still constant. No one has talked about a change in price currently. So this becomes a non-price factor immediately. And we know that a non-price factor will lead to a shift in the demand curve or a supply curve. Yeah. So in this case, people will demand less right now because they know they'll buy more later. So that means there's a shift inwards of the demand curve for tuna fish. Now, I'm assuming that we have something like that. Now, this is the price of trout and salmon. Trout and salmon is a competition product. this is a competitive product. So if the price of salmon, it's not the price of our commodity that is falling, that we're talking growing. It's not the price of tuna fish, but it's the price of trout and salmon. So this is also a non-price factor. Non-price in such a sense that it's non-price for the market we are drawing. It's a price factor for trout and salmon, but it's not a price factor for uh, tuna fish that we're drawing. So please do not confuse those two. Yeah. This goes to, I'll give you an example of a question here. Like I told you, the same concept is used in supply because supply has, I told you that supply has similar concept. It's only the content that changes. A change in a change in prices leads to a movement along the supply curve, and a change in non-price factors leads to a movement along, no, a movement leads to a shift. Sorry, in the in supply. Sorry, I'm confusing those terminologies. I hope you get. Um, okay, so I just want to show you one example here on supply, which I hope you will get. We have our handout here that I want us to look at. There's just one question that I want us to look at. Okay, so this handout is for supply. I'm sure the SL students are going to get it later. But it says it shows you the market. We're talking about the market of supply of frozen pizzas. So it's a market of frozen pizzas. And then the prompt is an increase in the price of frozen pizzas. It's clear. It says an increase in the price of frozen pizzas. So this is a price factor for frozen pizzas. It's a price factor for frozen pizzas. And that means it is a movement along the curve. Because it's an increase in price of frozen pizzas, that means more supply will be put on the market. So you come here and say it's an expansion. The next question is this: what wheat supply in the UK is the market we're drawing? Wheat supply. Then drought conditions in Eastern Anglia are expected to continue throughout the time. So nothing is being said about the price of wheat. Nothing has been said about the price of wheat. So this means that this is a non-price factor, which will lead to a shift in the supply curve. I hope that makes it clearer for everyone. If you have any questions, please type in the comment section of this channel, and please do not forget to subscribe. I sign out.